Dave Dev, Dave Dev, Dave Dev. You're watching Dave Dev. Boom! Welcome to Dave's Desk. I'm Dave. This is my desk, and today I've got something a little different going on. I just got this Bricklink order in, and there was a bit of a miscommunication with how I wanted this particular order bagged. I told them I wanted each individual part type bagged together, so you know the light gray could go with the black ones, and you know, like I've got this part here in gold, and you know, I kind of wanted them all bagged together. Well, they just decided to dump the whole thing in 2 bags and call it a day. So I'm sitting here sorting this today, which is fine. But it means I need to get through this before I can really do a Dave's Desk. And while I was sorting it, I thought, you know, maybe this week we do a different type of Dave's Desk, because I'll be honest with you, I actually didn't want to do another mock review. Dave's Desk is not just mock reviews. The idea behind it is that it's, you know, sort of like an educational channel for builders. And you know, the things, even with the mock reviews, the thing I'm trying to do is to show you valuable lessons or interesting things you can do as a mocker, as a Lego builder, to help you guys on your journey to becoming a better builder. So in that spirit, I don't always want to just do mock reviews. I want to talk about other concepts and ideas, and at a certain point, maybe I'll even do like building tips or like techniques and stuff like that. Stuff like that to help people figure things out. So while I'm working on this Bricklink order, I figured, you know, maybe today we can actually take a break from Dave's desk and go over to Dave's computer, and we'll talk about utilizing Bricklink in the ways that I utilize it. So let's get into that. All right, thanks, Meat Space Dave. Virtual Dave coming at you from Dave's desktop now. And let's go ahead and get started with that Bricklink stuff that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into talking about Bricklink. Now, I'm a big proponent of using Bricklink to help build your mocks, because it unlocks such a level of possibility that is not possible just trying to buy parts or just trying to use parts from Lego sets. This is a whole other level of working to make your idea happen. So I suspect a lot of people use Bricklink. I wonder if people know to use Bricklink in the way that I use it. And so I want to sort of go over a couple of main items today. I want to talk about the wanted list and how to utilize that. But first, I want to talk about this, the color guide. I have it bookmarked here on my desktop because I use it so much, but I want to show you how to get to it from the main page. So let's just refresh Bricklink here. Say you just landed on the Bricklink page. If you want to know what Lego parts come in what colors, there's actually a way to do that. So you click on parts, and now we're here on this page where you can find all the different Lego parts. It's up here, price guide, color guide. Click on that, and here we are. And the way it's organized, it's all the primary colors, then the transparent colors, pearl colors, like your pearl gold is the one we're most familiar with, pearl light gray, you know, your metallic colors. Satin colors, that's sort of a new thing. Metallic colors, milky colors, that's just its own weird niche thing. It gets pretty niche down here. And then Modulex colors, you can basically ignore that, because Modulex is a totally other thing that like you will probably never interact with. Basically, you want to come to here and stop. Everything else is really relatively irrelevant, and even then, A lot of this is very niche. Like you can see satin trans bright green. There's literally 6 parts and 7 sets. Yeah, it's like, yeah, not even really a thing. But the thing you want to do is you want to take the colors you're working with, and just for example, we'll pick on tan and say we're building a tan and a dark green mock, just because those colors actually look good together. Now, colors that have a lot of parts have the parts separated back out into the categories, but appearing in sets in tan color catalog categories. Okay, cool. So just for example, we're just gonna pick on Bionicle because that's the thing we like. Here you go. You've got all of the Bionicle parts in tan right here. You can figure out exactly what you might have and what you can work with. Now, where I really like to use this is often where I end up having to use the color guide to figure out what I can work with, is actually the Technic connector section. So it's all these type of parts, because like I want to know, like, hey, how can I join the interesting parts I have together and still keep the same color scheme, right? And as you can see, there's actually not a lot in tan, but there's some definitely very useful parts that even just these few handful of elements here, like you can get away with a lot, in tan, just by those handful of parts. This lets you figure out what's possible in the color you're working with. What that allows me to do specifically is it allows me to grab a part, like even if I don't have it in tan, I can go grab that part knowing that I can go get it, and use the part on the mock that I'm working on, and then fix it later by working with Bricklink and using the second part of things that I kind of want to show you guys around, and that is the wanted list, which is here. So I actually have a bunch of wanted lists. If you have a Bricklink account, your default wanted list is here, and you can't delete it. It's just always there. We're gonna create a new list. Dave's desk example. Okay, Dave's desk example list. We'll work with that. Create wanted list. Now you have this list, but there's nothing in it. Okay, cool. So let's say once again we're working in tan, and I know that we need the 2x2 thin lift, or the 2-axle lift arm. Not that's panels. Oops, back up. That's the one we want. Click right there. Okay. So we need some of these. Let's just, for the sake of example, we need 6 of those. Add to my wanted list. Here you pull this open. With tan, you can literally just hit T and it'll bring you down here. Up your quantities to 6, and it should be down here at the bottom. Add to wanted list. There you go. It's on there. And then, just for sake of example, say we're also here. Say we need, 6, maybe we need 4 of these. Okay, same exact deal. I'm just going to run through these real quick. Okay, so we have 2 elements on our wanted list. Then you can come back here to your wanted list, Dave's desk example list. Now here we have our actual list with some stuff on it. And from here, you can take these items and move to other lists. You can copy it to other lists. Cancel. Say you need the part in a different color. Maybe you decided, like, actually, I don't need it in that color. I need it in this color. You can fix it. Condition, price, quantity. Quantity is something I sometimes have to mess with. Maybe I realized, oh crap, I need more than I thought. So let's just say we need 8. It just changed both of these to 8. Okay. But say if you want to work on them individually, you come here and you could literally, you still only need save changes. There you go. Okay, so say you have your wanted list full of goodies that you were working on. Let's see, what's a good list for me? Okay, so this is actually, I use this just little supplemental elements. This is stuff that I'm looking for, and I don't need to make a whole wanted list. It's just extra stuff. I just kind of call it that because when I'm working on a mock, I will build a wanted list for the mock that I'm building, and then if there's like extra parts that I don't need, but I kind of want, like if I can find them, I'll use the supplemental list and I'll go add stuff to there. And that's kind of what this was. Let's actually grab this list here because now we can actually sort of, when you want to try and go buy these parts, now you got to come here to your different list of stores. And here's where things get kind of tricky. You generally want to try and buy as few parts or as most parts from as few stores as possible because every store is going to charge you shipping no matter what. You could be buying 4 Lego pieces, it's still going to be like $5 to $10 just to ship that order of parts, just because that's what the shipping cost and the envelopes and their materials cost. Just because you might be buying a cheap order doesn't mean they make the shipping real cheap. There's a baseline cost to shipping. If you try to buy a whole bunch of parts from like 20 different stores, you're going to be eaten alive by shipping costs. Whereas you want to try and find the most amount of parts from as few stores as possible. But however, sometimes what that means is the store you're buying from is actually really expensive. For whatever reason, Upstairs Bricks, they want $6 for these armor parts. And it's going to be $25 for that little batch of parts that I want. Well, that's really not a good idea. So, let's go to the US. Select. Okay, they have some parts here. Confirm selection. And then as you select your parts, I wouldn't actually maybe buy it this way, but here you've got 3 stores. This is 3 domestic. This is basically what your orders will cost. That's not counting for shipping. I think once you create carts, okay, then you come over here to your carts. 2 carts, expand. So the problem is we haven't met the minimum buy for these carts. So you'd have to go in. Yeah, minimum buy not met. Yeah, minimum buy is $13, $7. Frankly, if you ask me, that's a little high, but I understand it. Like, they have a business to run. Their time is valuable. They don't want to mess with an order unless they're making a certain amount of money. Now, a lot of stores actually don't do that. Or they have a very low minimum buy. Like, you have to buy like $5 worth of stuff, and I think that's completely reasonable. If I ran my own store, I probably wouldn't mess with an order unless you're like, at least let me make $5 on this order. Otherwise you're just kind of wasting my time. So with these cards we created, we'll go ahead and actually just, I'm actually going to nuke all the cards in here because I'm actually not buying anything right now. So that's generally how you want to utilize the wanted list and to actually buy your parts, and then the color guide helps you sort of figure out what's even possible. And like I said, I have it bookmarked right here. When I'm building, I am constantly using this. And so what I'll do is I'll put up on the screen here for you some examples of when I was building mocks, like Tenuvial here. I knew I wasn't going to be able to use the yellowish green color that she uses because there's actually not a lot of it. So I knew the only way I could maybe get the structural stuff working in a way that would look all right is actually if I supplemented it with lime green. And so that's what I did. Now, thankfully, lime has a lot of parts, and it's actually gotten a lot more parts recently thanks to some Technic sets that have recolored different elements in lime green that are like, your structural connector part type stuff. The thing I want to finish off with, a little bit of advice is, while you're doing this process, this is sort of a more nuanced issue to work with, but I want to point it out anyways. When you're trying to buy parts and you're looking things up, don't just take the Bricklink catalog for like granted. Like, okay, it exists in this part, I can use it, I can go get it. Because the thing is, they might make the part, but you still have to go buy it. And so what that means, though, is if it's, for example, a part that came in red in one Lego set in the 90s, well, it doesn't matter that it exists. It's still hard to get. So when you're looking for parts, make sure that the part you want is actually easy enough to get. So go find that part on the Bricklink page. Set in your settings. I like to look in the US because I don't really want to pay international shipping if I don't have to. I will buy internationally. I have. I certainly have built MOCs using parts from Europe, but I avoid it if possible because the shipping is going to be more expensive. The prices are going to be a little higher for those of us in the US. You have to pay value-added tax. That's what VAT stands for. And then even if the shipping cost isn't too expensive, you're going to wait for it for a while because it has to travel all the way from Europe across the ocean over to here. It's got to go through their customs. It's got to go through our customs. It takes like 3 weeks to a month to get your stuff. And you could be sitting there waiting to finish your build for a while if you've got to do international shipping. That probably goes the other way around. I imagine Europeans might have to do the same thing if they got to order from us. So fortunately, this part has actually been relatively easy to come by because it's been made in a few sets in lime green recently. And one of the cool things is, with the Bricklink catalog, you can actually see what sets a part has come in. And so, yeah, see the Ford Mustang Shelby is where these came from. Yeah, you can see it right there on the door handle. And you get 2 of them in this set. But that part's just made it around because, Boston Red Blocks. Cool name, by the way. I don't live in Boston, but yeah, gotta appreciate the name. They have 178 of these, and they want 61 cents. That's actually fairly reasonable. Let's say you want to be the absolute cheapskate that you are. You can go to lowest price, 24 cents for 2. But say you need 6 of these. So the cheapest you can get 6 of them. Okay, that store, we'll ignore them. They have they're like a bulk seller thing. 48 cents. And then you can just keep going up, and yeah. When you're looking for parts and you're doing this whole process of trying to figure out what it is you can even build with, make sure you look into what sets the part you're looking for and the color you're looking for comes in, because you might find, like, okay, it comes in dark azure. That's cool. What does it come in? It comes in the new Bugatti. That's cool. But the new Bugatti is a recolor. Okay, so come back over here. Dark azure. So there's 28 stores in total selling it. As you can see, it's actually a little more pricey because it's a specific set that it comes in. Now, once again, some stores seem to have 1 million of these. That might be due to bricks and pieces. But yeah, so the part you're looking for might be a little expensive. Just because it comes in one Lego set, it's hard to get. I'll reference this with an example. Actually, we will parts. I want to show you a specific example where this came up for me. It came up with Technic Brick. I was working on Merchant Mateo on his back, Mateo has like shoulder blades, and the issue I had was I wanted either this part or this part in dark green. It comes in dark green, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can use this part. The problem is, it comes in one Lego set. Rescue of the Mer People, this Harry Potter set from 2005. No store had this and then had the other stuff I would have needed. I would have literally had to go to a Bricklink store to buy this in dark green. So, yeah. And it's like, okay, look, it wasn't even that visible a part. You can kind of see the part in on his shoulder blades, but not enough to where it would be glaring. And because sourcing the part was going to be so difficult, I just decided to hell with it. I'll just use a black one. I stuck the black ones on there. You barely even notice. My point in telling you about that is sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze on trying to get certain parts. And in that sense, ignore that part, give up on trying to find it, and pivot to something else. Find another part that works in the colors that you're working in and gives you a solution to the problem you need. Even though you can buy pretty much whatever part you want if you're using this method, like there are times where you still need to do that adapting and adjusting because the idea you had isn't going to work out just because, like for example, this part came in one set in 2005. Some of the builds I build, I don't use Bricklink. I say I'm not ordering anything for this build. I'm just going to use what I have on hand. Now, for me personally, that's not an issue. I have a lot of Lego. So most people, I think, built that way. And this Bricklink method sort of frees you up from having to do that, but it doesn't completely absolve you of having to be creative and have to pivot from certain parts because sometimes certain parts just aren't an option. So I just want you to know that, like, just because I can go buy the parts that I need doesn't mean like I don't have to be creative and that you won't have to be creative and put on your problem solving hat from time to time, because this is problem solving in a different way. Bricklink provides a lot of options, but you still have to be smart about it. And it's still a tricky method to work with because once you have your mock built, well, you got to sit there and make sure you figure out how many of this you need, how many of that you need, all of that. And then you got to come to your wanted list and figure out who has it. So pretty much most stores, I think, will have some of this part. And what's cool is because I only want these two parts, I can actually look over here and see how many people have a bunch of them. So like down here, Brick Fans, they've got 141. Ooh, look at that. We could definitely get as many of those as we could possibly need. That's really nice. Using your Bricklink wanted list this way, what it does is it helps you spend your money smartly. It means that you don't have to spend $50, $100 or whatever buying things that you think you might need. Like, okay, well, I might use this, I might use that. I'll get 20 of these, I'll get 30 of those or whatever. And then they sit in your drawer for however long until the day that you comes along that you do need some, and then you might need 6. What this means is you can sort of target your finances intelligently by getting precisely what you need and not overspending and saying, okay, well, I don't need 20 of these, so I won't buy 20 of these. I'll buy 6 of them. And you can go in and make these like smaller orders and get precisely what you need and save your money for future stuff. You can go into your Bricklink spending very accurately. For me personally, that helps me save money by not playing this guessing game. But also, when I do know that I need that part, I know, okay, and these are actually the parts I tend to use more. And so, like that Bricklink order that I showed you at the start of the video, that was me buying a bunch of structural stuff just because I know I use it. And I'm like, okay, I need this to build more MOCs. If I have it in like very basic colors, I know I can use them on my MOCs, and then I can use this method to fix the colors later. And then I'm not spending all this money trying to have that part in blue, and that part in tan, and that part in lime, and that part in red, and that part in white, and that part in green. I can just go, okay, I have it in black and both grays and maybe white. I'll throw them on there. I know it'll be a different color later. I go get exactly what I need. The parts arrive. I pull them off the mock. I put the right color ones on there, and slowly over the course of a couple weeks, when all my parts start showing up, the wrong colors start coming off the mock. Mock starts being the right color, and then there you go. You're done. So yes, this has been an episode of Dave's Desktop. It's been a different video. I hope that you guys like this video. It's kind of different. I know it's not as visually interesting, but hopefully you enjoyed listening to it. And this is a different kind of video, so I would like some feedback on it. Definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know what it is you thought about the video, things I can maybe do better. I'm learning and growing as a video creator, so feedback is definitely helpful. So with that, guys, that will be it for me for Dave's Desk. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Hey, you were going to leave this video without liking and subscribing. Not cool, man. Like the video and subscribe so that I can grow on this channel and make more videos. Do you want more videos? Alright, that's what I thought. So push the little red subscribe button and push the little thumbs up button, and that'll help my channel out. Thank you, and have a nice day.